Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Selamat pagi. To honorable guests, Profesor Dr. Emnah Markum, Ibu Dr. Dewi Molina, and Ibu Dr. Intain. I guess we don't have fellow guest speaker, maybe later. Respected colleagues and to my beloved students. I'm very honored to be here today presenting my speech on creating meaning to increase well-being. Okay, next. Yeah, okay. Achieving well-being is a desire of all human beings. It is the most important topic in psychology. Psychology needs to understand well-being fundamentally and comprehensively. Psychology cannot study well-being half-heartedly. And psychological research over time should move people closer to well-being. From time to time, if psychology have a progress, it should be increase people well-being from time to time. Okay. Next, according Martin Seligman, there are 5 bases of well-being, namely positive emotion or pleasure, such joy, happy, proud, and then engagement, how we engage with our activities and have flow, and then relationship with others, meaning and accomplishment. This shortened by acronym PERMA by Seligman. PERMA is a new concept of well-being. Seligman revised his theory authentic happiness with PERMA because authentic happiness, according him, cannot really explain well-being at full sense, but PERMA have a full sense of well-being. Okay. According to Seligman, well-being is more than just hedonism, pleasure, and fleeting situational emotion. Feeling happy or joy is a positive emotion for us, but it is happen only for a moment, not long-lasting. In order to attain well-being, a person must also foster good and constructive relationship with others, make deep conversation with others, meeting people, and it is not only just say how are you and how you doing, but make real conversation, asking about important things and give opinions and so on. Achievement at both individual and societal level from time to time also contribute to well-being. And people strive to do all of these factors in order to serve greater purpose beyond the individual, which Seligman defined as meaning. I will emphasize this meaning in my speech. Let me tell this first. Since this is my first time to deliver speech in English in a relatively long time, so I will be more like reading than speech to you. If last week we have Zimbardo as a keynote speaker, and he wear T-shirt with the title "Hero in Training." Maybe I should use speaker in training. So forgive me if my English and my speech not really fluent. Yeah. Okay, but I hope that we can catch up the essence and substance of my speech. Okay, we continue. Okay, so what is meaning? Meaning is a concept or term. It's that's hard to define, but in this speech I use the definition from Baumeister. Meaning is shared mental representation of possible relationship among things, event, and relationship. Meaning is shared mental representation of possible relationship among things, event, and relationship. It's wide enough, I think, this definition, but it gives us understanding that meaning link objects. Meaning is make possible relationship among things. Maybe the thing is different in physical characteristic, physical feature, but it can be connect by the same category. Attaining meaning always entitled two or more event, as the essence of meaning is connection. Meaning connects things, two or more things. And meaning is very important for human, as it is the answer for the fundamental question of who we are, and becomes the driving force for human civilization to strive for bigger things and more noble achievement. And next, still we talk about the meaning of meaning. The meaning of meaning. What is the meaning of meaning? Okay, meaning is a non-physical reality. It is real in that it can have genuine causal consequences, and yet it can be reduced to physical principle. Again, it's come from Baumeister and Fo. Good morning, Prof. Peter and Dr. Otkar. Meaning of life is what makes a person's life stable in the midst of the fluctuating reality of life. It is what overcomes the biological state of human, which are limited and changing. Meaning is something that make us can overcome the situation, overcome the here and now, beyond the here and now. Next. This is what I like the most. That meaning can be considered as humanitarian tool to create stability in life. A person can overcome the fluctuation in their life and keep it stable with meaning of life, even if the person leading a difficult life. Another important aspect of meaning is a level of meaning. Meaning have levels. Lower level includes concrete meaning, direct and specific, whilst upper level evoke concepts which are long-lasting and broad. Let me give you an example of the level of meaning. Let's take meaning of eating. At low level, meaning of eating is a sequence of hand movement to put food into the mouth and then chewing the food. But at medium level, the meaning of eating is the act of eliminating hunger. And at the higher level, eating is a meaningful part in the process of achieving a healthy life so that people can contribute something positive in their lifetime. So, from one things, we can have different meaning. People can have different meaning when he face or interact with something. Okay, next. Another important of meaning is we need meaning. People needs meaning. At least there are 4 needs for meaning. The first, the need for purpose. There are two kinds of purpose. One, goals. It connects what is happening today with event in the future. And the other, fulfillment. It's a life orientation towards some anticipated future condition, such as living a happy life, healthy, successful career, and going to heaven. The second need for meaning is need for values. It is the basis for a sense of goodness or positivity towards life, as well as justifying a set of action. And the third, the need for sense of efficacy gives confidence to a person that they can make a difference. And the fourth is the need for a base for self-worth. It gives reason for people to believe that they are good and worthwhile. Okay, next. All four needs of meaning must be fulfilled in order to achieve well-being. These needs motivate people to create meaning in a process of meaning making. And meaning making is an active process that is undertaken to better revise or reappraise an event or series of events. Is from Baumeister and Foer, 2003. And next. Okay. Meaning as element of well-being. Meaning plays an important role in creating a meaningful life. As Seligman stated that the meaningful life has one additional feature: using your signature strengths in the service of something larger than you are. And finding meaning and purpose in life is an important determinant of well-being that lasts a long time in a person's life. And next. Okay. How we create meaning? How do we create meaning? Recognizing, understanding, and applying the power that we have is the cornerstone to produce a productive and meaningful life. We can create meaning by using our power or our signature strength and virtues in our daily life. Creating meanings involve bringing order to the content of the mind by integrating one's action into a unified flow experience. The creation of meaning requires thought and action performed in the everyday life. Next. The construction of meaning requires thought and action that occur in our life and are related to vital domain in our life. Utilizing strength and virtue is necessary to produce personal goals in a meaningful life. Meaning is not something that we just think about and believe in. It is something that we must apply and exercise in our daily life. So, it's only believe something, that something good or something is important, is not create a meaning. If you believe something is good and then you act toward it and you act according it. Meaning involve thought, and action. Next. Meaning and the experience of loss. Yeah. Meaning can be functioning in coping with loss experience and overcome the effect of loss of loved one. Meaning also play a role in helping people cope with and overcome and the effect of loss loved one, find some benefit from their experience, even grow from their experience, broadening their perspective. A person who reflects and seek positive outcome from the experience of loss gain more benefit in achieving well-being as compared to those who seek to understand their experience in loss. And giving meaning to experience of loss of loved one, it's better for us to seek positive outcomes, seek the positive side of the event, than trying to understand and make sense what happened. Seek positive outcomes or positive side can drive us to go beyond the event and to self-distance with the event, so we can see the event from far, and then we can evaluate them and we can make it more better. We can fix the situation and we can find the meaning of this lost event, the relation of this lost event with the future events that more positive. A person who has wisdom and broad perspective over the challenging life experience show high level of interpersonal strengths. This is related with the attainment of meaning, which always requires interaction with other people. A central feature of meaning is meaning in life. Is acknowledging the presence of something greater than oneself. And in social context, the greater being is the presence of other people. Interacting with others positively and giving benefit to others through pro-social activities provide meaning in life. On the other hand, meaning in life can make a person get involved in things outside of oneself, either through positive social relationship or through the connection with the higher power. Next. Okay. Now I'm going to talk about meaning-making activity, how to create meaning and improving or increasing well-being. It was proven that generally well-being could be increased by 3 meaning-making activities: behavioral activity, cognitive activities, volitional activities. I will give the example of behavioral activity. A few examples of behavioral activity are spending time to socialize, doing good deeds to others, and lastly, writing and sending a thank you message. And then a few samples of positive cognitive activities that could be done are writing about things that to be grateful for, ascribe for more positive values to things that happen, and being a present-oriented individual. And lastly, volitional activity comprises of trying to achieve personal goal and being more organized, and also having a good planning ability. The synthesis of the 3 activities will strengthen one meanings in life, which could manifest into intentional activities, namely a more organized activity, starting from planning to implementation, and then to valuation. If intentional activity is done intensively, it will be the most promising way to improve one's happiness. This activity involves everything that individual thinks and do in their daily life. This organized activity influences 40% of the happiness and have high potential to improve happiness because of inherent benefit of the activity. It's from Lubomirski and et al. Next. One of form of intentional activity is counting blessing in diary. Cognitively, counting blessing activity is activate the mind to remember good things in one's life. Behaviorally, this kind of routine involves meaningful behavior. Volitionally, this kind of routine will make individual to constantly think and act good. Gratitude intervention is proved to be a relevant technique to develop gratefulness, and gratefulness is proved to be relevant to create meaning. This activity, counting blessing, is a form of intervention to produce an appreciation which will make individual grateful of everyday blessing which have appeared in their life. As I mentioned, it involves cognitive, behavioral, and volitional activity. Some studies show that counting blessing routinely, regularly, can increase sense of grateful, and in the next will increase the meaning in life. Gratitude intervention could be done by making a daily list of things that made someone grateful on a regular basis, like when we write in the diary every night before we go to sleep. It is an easier technique and could be done rapidly. Study conducted by Emmons and Mikhailov, 2003, which divide participants into 3 groups separating into 3 different experiment conditions, namely A, gratitude, creating a 5 daily list of experiences to be grateful, and B, hazelness, creating a 5 daily list of experiences that have high possibility to encounter again, and C, and even creating list of eventful experience that happen every day, whether it's positive or negative. As a result, the experiment group, gratitude group, that creating a 5 daily list of experience to be grateful is have high score in happiness and subjective well-being and life satisfaction. So many variations of counting blessing could be done to produce happiness, which in turn will improve well-being. Counting blessing, which derive from other goodness, whether close or not, can increase meaning in life. And counting blessing also could be done by expressing gratitude from acquiring good things in life, or because one could avoid misfortune. Also by doing counterfactual thinking, by expressing gratitude because good thing happens. If those things were not happening, then misfortune will occur. Next. Another activities, intentional activities that can create meaning is writing thank you letter. Expression of gratitude toward others can be done by verbal or in writing. Even can done by mail. In a study by Seligman et al., 2005, participants were asked to make a thank you letter and deliver the letter in person, make a gratitude visit within 1 week, and compare with the control group who were asked to write an experience of early memories every night for a week. Participants who deliver a letter of gratitude have higher levels of happiness and lower level of depression soon after the intervention period ends and 1 month later. Kartika, Oriza, and Takwin follow up on a study conducted Seligman et al., which asked for one group of participants to write a letter of thanks and deliver the letter in person, make a gratitude visit, and read it within 1 week, and then receive a feedback directly from the recipient. This activity is carried out for 3 weeks, and the result compare with a group of other participants who also write a thank you letter and deliver the letter in person, but did not read it aloud nor receive direct feedback. The experimental group had higher happiness scores. Thus, receiving feedback directly from a hand-delivered gratitude letter increase happiness and contribute to increase well-being of the sender. Next. Another activity, intentional activity, is performing small acts of kindness. Okay, meaning in life can be created through acts of kindness. Good action that produce meaning does not have to be grand. Small acts of helping others is sufficient. Lubomirski et al., 2005, states that good deeds is one of the ways that can be done to increase positive moods and happiness, which lasts a long time. Research conducted by Lubomirski, King, and Diener show that individuals who consider themselves to have a positive and happy tendency are those who have the desire to help others, behave prosocially, as well as have intention to perform altruistic act and behave decently. Good deeds can increase happiness through various means, such as the growing perception to be generous to others or the community, increasing the sense of interdependence and cooperation, as well as the awareness of one's luck. In addition, people who perform good deeds view themselves as altruistic, which in turn will make them feel more confident, capable, have good control, and confidence of their ability to help others. Individuals who do good deeds or help others feel more meaningful from the positive response, and as such will increase in their self-efficacy. Additionally, individuals who perform good deeds will be happy from the recognition and from being considered as an important person who can be relied upon by others. All of the positive outcomes from performing good deeds increases meaning in life and in turn will influence a person's well-being. Performing good deeds can provide a deep satisfaction. When people perform good deeds, they are invested in the act and this involvement that leads to the feeling of satisfaction. The satisfaction derived from doing something good is one aspect of attaining well-being. Performing good deeds does not only generate positive emotions such as happy, but create meaning and well-being. Okay. Next. The other intentional activity that can create meaning is appreciating the beauty in everyday life. Enjoying what is there in the world is an important element in the meaningful life. To maintain a positive outlook toward lives, we need to experience events that give us pleasure, satisfaction, and happiness. We cannot only rely on the belief on the goodness of the world, we must prove it and make it happen in everyday reality through our action. To maintain a positive outlook on the world and other people, We need experiences that provide pleasure, enjoyment, either psychologically, physically, social, and spiritually. We need to perform acts that lead us to positive feelings such as happy, satisfied, proud, thrilled, grateful, amazed, and mesmerized. One of the activities that we can do is enjoy at work, experience natural beauty and other simple beauties in our daily life. Various studies have shown a relationship between appreciation of beauty and the excellent with prosociality and well-being. To increase the appreciation of beauty that affect well-being, Martinez, Marty, Avia, and Hernandez Loreda, 2014, give practice to participants and increasing the meaning their meaning in life. The practice includes increasing our awareness of beauty, increasing the awareness of beauty and how it affects emotion, thought, and behavior. Develop an aesthetic attitude in the face of beauty, and 3, to push oneself to be exposed by beauty. Enjoying at work, depicting beauty, goodness, and usefulness of nature can help us understand more about how nature contains many positive things and then create meaning in our life. Next. This is the last intentional activities that I will explain. Sharing useful experience to others. The excitement and satisfaction will be bigger if there are a sharing activity and encouragement toward others have certain influence toward positive change of the person who is encouraged. Encouraging others will make individual more aware toward quality of one's character. That in turn will make people more active to communicate about character, strength, and virtue, also getting new understanding toward the quality of character. Sharing useful experience also drive people to stay active in developing quality in his own life. Encouragement could be focused on one individuals, or groups, organization, and other groups. Sharing experience that could improve the meaning in life encompass helping others aware toward their character quality, facilitate the mind on the importance of developing character quality with personal communication or attitude, and giving pervasive example of achieved success. With sharing and encouraging others, individual could strengthen the character strength and virtue in oneself. In my study, the individual that bounce back from hardship and achieving desirable success, they could make their self feel meaningful and have character strength by helping others. Having others is a meaning in their life as a fulfillment or as a value, sense of efficacy and self-worth. And helping others, both the 4 needs for meaning can be fulfilled. Next. Sorry. Okay, there are many research on well-being that gives us understanding toward many ways to create meaning in life to achieve well-being. Those findings could be an important material for psychologists to help improve well-being of the society. We should also consider the fact that there are still things about well-being that need to be studied further, and there are also many ongoing studies about well-being, but what was found at this time could be implemented in our daily life, whether for ourselves or for others. In the light of this, psychology could help humans achieve something they long for, to achieve well-being. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for listening and being sober to listen to me.
A good psychological well-being. Thank you.
Okay, Dr. Takwim, thank you for the opportunity and the committee. I would like to ask you a question. From the presentation, it is said that there are many practices that should be applied in daily life to increase our subjective well-being. And then, among all those activities, there are activities that related to the religiosity of someone, because just like expressing gratitude and something like that. And then, is there any significant correlation outside of this? Is there any significant correlation between the religiosity of someone with the positive psychology in context of subjective well-being? Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the questions. It's a good question. First question: do pathological person can doing those technique? Yes, in some degree. I mean, what kind of pathology they have? If depression or anxiety disorder, still they still can use the technique. There are more. There are many research that show that the anxious person or the person that have depression can use this technique. But if they have severe pathology, I think it have to use preliminary approach to get them to do this technique. Actually, I have no research about it, but in study on self-management, there are many researchers do conduct research on schizophrenia, and they use many techniques according this technique that I mentioned before, but it can be sure. It cannot be sure which technique that make them increase their health. I think that's my answer for the first question. The second question from Prof. Liche, it is the same question for me. Yeah, honestly, I have no research about it. But according to the theory, meaning is something that we think important. It's something that larger, greater than ourselves. We can have more than one meaning, and in different domains. But they say that it must be there are a hierarchy of meaning. We have to make a hierarchy of meaning. Which one is the most important, and what is the second? Usually the second is derived from one. And if still we have many meanings that we consider it's not interact or it's not integrated, we should find the evaluative principle. I think something we should find concept that more wide concept that wider, concept that can memayungi, that can cover that meanings. We should find that's the greater meaning, the biggest meaning. And we need use abstraction. It's hard to do, but it can be done. I think that's all I can answer, because the problem is mine also. Okay, practice in religion, do they have correlation with well-being or subjective well-being or psychological well-being? One element of well-being that close to religion is meaning. Meaning is something that we consider as greater and larger than ourselves, but it's important, and it's have maybe sacral, it's a sacred one. Religion, according to the theory of meaning of life, is one form of one kind of meaning that we have. We serve, we believe, and we serve something larger, greater than our, even greater than the universe, that we call God. God is the meaning, and as I think there are many practice in religion that can increase meaning. But what kind of meaning? It's meaning that relate to religion. It's depend on the religion. What is the content of meaning in that religion? If you have Madonna's religion, that you worship Madonna or UFO, maybe it's different content of meaning with if you worship Allah or Yahweh or another God. But the practices, the act is, can create meaning. I think that's all.
So we have one more question and answer session. Okay, 1, 2, another one, 3, no? Okay, di situ 1. Ya, ini apa sih?
Okay, good morning, Mr. Bagus Takwin. My name is Dia, and I want to ask a question. I interested with your statement about counting blessing in a diary. Maybe this day, just a few people who still write in diary, and most recent people is using social media to share the activity. But the other side, I often heard that be social media addict is not good. So what do you think about this phenomena? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Intan. Your presentation is quite interesting, but I have an impression that your presentation is on individual. How about the collective meaning? Because we know that there is a individual self-efficacy, but also there is a group self-efficacy. Individual aggression and then also group aggression. And if you have you have a collective meaning, how do you create meaning for a society, for a group, because as you know, as you also involved in political condition in Indonesia, the situation in Indonesia right now is not good for our development. A lot of people has, I think, in your opinion maybe, has no meaning, because aggression, and then attacking people, aggression, and it's not a meaning what you mean. So my questions again, how we create the meaning for a group, for a society, for a collective meaning. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the question. It's inspired me to conduct research. Okay, diary. Well, who write the diary now? I still write the diary, but the millennials, I think they don't write the diary. But you mentioned that how that young people nowadays now is more well informed with social media. We don't have any research using social media yet, but I think it is good. It is interesting to conduct research. What is the effect of counting blessing using social media? You express the grateful your gratitude in Twitters or Facebook and so on. I used to do that. How beautiful Indonesia! Thanks for Indonesia. Thanks for, but not regularly. But I think it's interesting to conduct research in social media. To know whether social media can use for increasing well-being. Okay. I think you asked me, you asked my opinions about so many young people using social media. I think it's no problem. Yeah. I think it's a means, a tools, I mean, media for them to express their opinions. Actually, I still have no research about it. The impact of social media to personality or well-being is not quite conclusive. There's so many gap and conflicting results in those areas of research. Okay, I think that's all my answer for you. I hope you understand. And one tough question from Prof. Eno Markum: how to create collective meaning? Well, I think it's our problems and our homework to do this. But some research show that collective meaning can be created by using a collective memory and narrative. One of my friend, his name is Cahyo from Universitas Sanata Dharma. He conduct research, an action research, with a passion, petani in Java, to create collective meaning using narrative. He used video. Every week they gather and they gather in one place and they're discussing about their land, their farm, and so on and so on. And the researcher record them. After this gathering, the researcher editing the film, expose. They make a sequence that suitable with one meaning, a certain meaning, and then the next weeks they gather again and they talk. Before that, they discuss. The discussion begins. The researcher played the movie, the video, and he said, "This is our notulency or our result of our discussion last week. This is they watch the movie and then they continue what content what they saw in video and discuss. And after the gathering, the researcher edit the video again. It's about 7 months, and after 7 months, they have collective meaning. They follow the narrative in the video. The paper is published in Group Dynamics, Journal of Group Dynamics, or some kind of that. I think maybe that is what we should do is form a collective narrative and use collective memory to form a collective meaning. I think that's all.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Bagus Takwin, for your speech and for the question and answers session, for answering participants' questions. So if I could summarize that everyone suffers hardships in their life, and apparently doing simple things such as expressing gratitude, writing thank you notes and saying thank you, appreciating the beauty in everyday life could help us in achieving a well, meaningful life. There were questions about the effects of religion, and you said it plays an important role in well-being, and social media, expressing your thank yous through social media could be an area of research that needs exploring, as well as how can we measure collective meaning and how could we create collective meaning. With psychopathology, I actually have a personal experience. I suffered tremendous hardships last year, and I was depressed for a while, maybe still right now, I don't know. But writing the diary, actually I applied some of the things that Dr. Bagus presented today, and it helped me quite tremendously that I was able to be a little less depressed. But yeah, it can be applied to a clinical population. I'm probably one sample that you could use. So thank you very much for your talk. And then I would give the mic to Bona. Thank you.